We have to teach not the way we like, but we have to teach the way students love to learn. Teachers should be an researcher. Teachers should be a learner. Teachers should be very passionate about her work, and she should be a lifelong learner. Right?
Okay.
Your left hand controls your right brain, right hemisphere, and your right hand or the right portion of your body controls your left brain. So what happens when we bring in lot of movements in the classroom, then you're involving cerebellum in the learning process.
Hey pupils, this is Sharmida Kaushik, and if you're watching this, you are the learning kind. This is brought to you by Perpetual Pupil, experts at learning and development, currently focused on bringing new perspectives to education. Hi, we have a very exciting guest today, Ms. Manjula Veerana, who is a seasoned teacher who has taught all age groups, and her unyielding curiosity has led her to become a neuroscience trainer. She has also published her research that speaks about the implications of neuroscience on both teachers as well as on students. So I'm very excited to hear more about it from her. But right now in the current generation, what would you say are some of the pressing issues in the world of education?
Pressing issues a lot, but more importantly is students are disengaged in the classroom and they lack a lot of motivation.
Oh, how can neural education help this?
That's what I just told you.
You did, yes.
Yeah, I did refer to the being intrinsically motivated, having growth mindset, and when you're very adaptive expertise,
Correct.
then that will help you to make students more engaged in the classroom and also help them motivate in their learning experience.
Okay, what would you say are some of the practices that teachers can follow to be intrinsically motivated, and as you said, the other things that are necessary to deal with?
Yes, first is teachers, if they want to come to teaching or if they want to be in schooling or if they want to teach children, first they have to believe that they are lifetime learners. Right? First is they have to update themselves. They cannot tell that like last 30 years, this is how my teacher was teaching, and next I will also teach like my teacher.
Yeah.
So we have to teach not the way we like, but we have to teach the way students love to learn. Right? And also understanding the principles of neuroscience, again, it gives lot of insights and perspectives for the teachers to better their teaching experience. And also it will help them, once they understand the core mechanics of this, how it learns, it will help them to, their teaching experience itself will become stress-free.
Correct.
And teachers will not feel anxiety, and they'll also understand that teaching is a very joyful experience. Otherwise, they will be a person like once the 4 o'clock ticks, they'll be looking at their watch and they want to step out of the classroom.
How would you assess the quality of teachers though right now?
Right now, it's a huge crisis. Like if at all, if we receive around 300 applications for the recruitment, and we hardly get 25 good, reasonable teachers. So that is, it's really a sad state. It is not just in India, it is across the world. And again, for teaching, most of 99.9% women come to teaching field. And since they would have tried many fields, if they have not really felt successful, they'll end up in teaching. That's what I have seen. And of course, here and there are good, passionate teachers. That's why still the world is moving good in a far better way.
Ma'am, I would like to know what are some of the practices that teachers can follow to enhance the quality of teaching?
Yeah, as I already mentioned, if the teacher is coming to a teaching line, she should start believing that I'm a lifelong learner. So in that context, I would like to tell that teachers have to undergo a lot of trainings, read a lot of books, do a lot of practices. There was a Chinese monk where he used to preach everywhere, and a lot of people used to come and visit him and so on. And there was one man, he wanted to visit the Chinese monk, and he wants to understand, or he wanted to experience that enlightenment. So he traveled across the world, and finally he goes and meets the Chinese monk. And there, he starts asking, you have preached the entire world, and most of the people are experiencing the enlightenment, and I would like to take a lot of teachings from you. And the monk tell, okay, please be seated, and before that, please sip a cup of tea.
Wow. Oh.
Then like, okay, then okay, what do you want to listen from me? He tells all the stories. In between, whenever the monk tries to interrupt him, like he is to tell, wait, I want to tell. And throughout like 1 day or 2 days or, and that man was so inquisitive, and he inquisitive, and he had so much of knowledge and experience. He started uttering so much. And finally, the monk didn't speak anything, and he kept quiet. Then he tells, monk, you didn't tell me anything. You didn't teach me. So he told, like, in case if you want to learn something new, first make sure that you empty your cup and come back to me. Then I'll be in a position to teach you. So teachers also should be that, yes, whenever there is a training session, the teachers comes to the mindset that I know everything, and what is this resource person going to teach? So I tell
Correct,
teachers,
yeah.
please empty your cup and then come to a training session, and come with like a plain slate, absorb all new things, and then try to implement. Maybe I'm not telling that every strategies may work for you, but at least you can try something, or you can innovate something and then implement and tell to the world that yes, this works for my children. So in that context, teachers should be an researcher, teachers should be a learner, teachers should be very passionate about her work, and she should be a lifelong learner.
So you taught me some exercises and games in the beginning of
True.
this thing. Do you think those are some of the activities that teachers can use?
Yes, like I already told that neuroscience is something which is very vast, and people always relate it to the clinical perspective, where there is some lesions or some kind of wrong things are happening in the brain, so we need to take treatment from the doctors. But now what are we trying to do is we are taking the research and then trying to convert it into actionable strategies. In that context, we have taken this bouncing ball games, right? That bouncing ball games or bilateral exercises, which helps you to like strengthen your corpus callosum, which is helping you to interact with your left brain and right brain, or left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. And that is very important for enhancing your creative thinking skills and critical thinking skills, and also to regulate your emotions in a certain way. And also this will help you to enhance your cognitive flexibilities, and also help you to adapt to a newer situations or in any other novel situations. So bilateral exercises are very important. Apart from bilateral exercises, we have designed lot of cognitive flexibility kind of exercises in the form of worksheets, in the form of some kind of physical movement kind of exercises in the classrooms. The first very important one is like whenever the child enters the classroom, or now the math period is going to commence. It's an example where like let the teacher take some time, maybe 5 seconds or 10 seconds or a minute, to activate their right portion of their brain with a simple exercise. Let me give you an example. So let's consider it as a small piece or an object. It might be a simple eraser, or it might be any object. The child can, in order to activate our right brain, we have to make sure that the child is doing his activity in his left hand. So it is crisscross, right? Your left hand controls your right brain, right hemisphere, and your right hand or the right portion of your body controls your left brain. So simple exercises like let the child throw the simple objects in the air standing, and that is a simple way of doing an exercise by activating their right hemisphere.
Got it.
Right? That is one way of doing the things. Second one is, yes, bouncing ball is a very simple example. And third important thing is we have created lot of worksheets. Like for example, mix match where you're using both the hands simultaneously and doing the work. It might be a parallel hands paintings, or it might be writing. Like in Madhya Pradesh, there is a school where they teach students to use both of their hands in writing Sanskrit.
Oh, ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous.
Oh.
So that is one of the way of enhancing your corpus callosum.
Oh.
So in this way, we can bring in lot of exercises and then implement in the classroom. So each subject teacher, at least weekly 1 or 2 cognitive flexibility worksheets, if they introduce in the classroom, that will really help enhancing the building the white matter structure in the child's brain.
Interesting.
In our whole conversation, Sharmada, like I was trying to mention that we have to architect the child's brain.
Right, yeah.
Isn't very interesting, right? So, like, how do we architect? I'm not a science background, and I'm not a science teacher, or neither I don't have any neuroscience background.
Okay.
So here, what has to be done is they have to consult the neuroscientist and a combination of learning scientist. That's where we come into the picture. Right, we have taken neuroscience principles and also we have the background of learning sciences.
Correct.
When we culminate together and come up with lot of strategies for the teachers. So in this course of time, what we have identified is there are couple of white matter structures, which is very important. So when I'm using white matter, like definitely as a student, we know like we have something called white matter and gray matter. So white matter is the combination or the bundle of all the axons. See, this is a neuron. This is a cell body. These are the dendrites.
Okay.
This is an axon.
Okay.
So all the axons put together, we can call it as a white matter.
Okay.
And why it looks white is it that it has got a fatty layer. It has got a fatty layer, which we call it as myelin sheaths. Because of these myelin sheaths, whenever a new information goes to the neuron, it helps the neuron receives the information, it travels to the axon and reaches the axon terminal, and then it again fires to the next neuron. So if at all, if this myelin sheaths or this fatty layer is not there in the child's brain, then information is lost. It gets dissolved.
Yeah.
You know,
it's so like that plastic coating.
Absolutely, you have our wires, right?
Yeah.
We have a plastic coating. Similarly, the myelin sheaths are very important. So now we have, as an educator, so what are the different learning structures which are very important for us? So here, like I would like to tell, very interesting one is, like in our study we have done. I'll just use this brain to explain it. So first, let me give you the wider structure of what are the important parts of the brain. So you have this is a white portion, we call it as brainstem. Then you have cerebellum. Then you have the total 80% of our brain is our cortex, right? So here now, all this while we were ignoring this cerebellum part. Basic functions is this brainstem helps us to regulate all our autonomic functions like heartbeat, breathing, exercise, breathing, digestions, and so on. Cerebellum, it basically takes care of your postures, balancing, motor movements, and so on. Like for example, we are holding a pencil and writing, right? Yeah. The child should be able to hold it properly, and he should have that eye and hand coordination and then write it. So all those things is taken care of cerebellum. Then you have the entire cortex or cerebrum. We call it as cerebrum. So here now the recent research has come up and they have told that almost more than 50% of neurons are there in cerebellum. Oh, right. So since more than 50% of neurons are present in cerebellum, then what happens? The movement. This takes care of movement, like kinesthetic movements, balancing and all. Why don't we consider this portion? This has to be involved in the learning process. That means integrate movement in the classroom in the form of brain breaks, in the form of some exercises, bilateral exercises, what we did. So what happens when we bring in lot of movements in the classroom, then you're involving cerebellum in the learning process. Right. Then you have the top brain. In top brain, again, further we have divided into 4 lobes. You have frontal lobe, you have parietal lobe, occipital lobe, and temporal lobe. So now I'll be referring you to the learning structure. This will help you to bring the magic in the classroom. So the first learning structure, we call it as superior longitudinal fasciculus, which runs right from the brainstem till the cortex. Prefrontal cortex. Superior longitudinal fasciculus. Second one is cerebellum. Third one is the four lobes. Fourth one is corpus callosum, which is helping you to talk to both the hemispheres. Fifth one is uncinate fasciculus, which is connecting to the prefrontal cortex, temporal lobe, and the emotional brain. Uncinate fasciculus. Then you have a phonological loop. Then you have temporal and occipital speech area. Then you have Broca's and Wernicke's areas. And then you have cingulate gyrus. And then at last, but not the least, the entire higher order thinking skills, higher order executive functions. So if the teacher makes sure that all these learning structures are well built, well architected, then Sharmida, you will not believe that any damn exam, let it be a PISA exams, or it might be an Olympiad or talent search exams, or even civil service exams, any kind of exams, the child will be in a position to crack, and he will really thrive well in the in your careers.
That is one of the concerns of majority of parents, whether or not children can, using alternative teaching and all, will they be able to crack competitive exams? So this definitely helps.
It definitely helps. So first is our focus should be on architecting the child's brain. Then definitely we can make sure that learning is a very joyful process.
Ma'am, would you like to share something to our audience?
Yes, of course. When I consider as an audience, like I would be considering the educators and parents and the teachers. Yes, you have to understand that to unlock the child's potential, it's only through brain. Because the brain is a focal point over here, and make sure that you create a congenial environment, nurturing environment, and also will also make sure that we are not here to correct the child, but we are here to correct the environment, and also bring in lot of resilience and joy in the learning. And also we have to be more grounded and make sure that emotions are the integral part of our learning process, and then you will see the magic. Yes, sometimes logic is important, so when you bring magic, logic will get converted into magic. Okay, so hence thank you, Sharmada, for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you, ma'am.
So as a takeaway from this conversation, yes, of course, it's always joy, resilience, and curiosity will make this a world a beautiful one, and we'll be more socially connected, emotionally grounded, and intellectually flying high or soaring high in the sky.
Wow, ma'am, thank you so much. That was such an insightful conversation. I think I understood so many things that were just there in words and theory, like why it happens and the reason behind it in this conversation. So thank you so much, ma'am. We have a small token of appreciation for you. Thank you so much for coming, and
thank you.
We look forward to more such conversations and collaborations with you in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And until next time, don't stop learning.